Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Very Reasonable Pilots podcast. I'm your host, Charles. Along with me, as always, is my co-host, editor, producer, co-pilot, and gunner, Jacob Gloth. How are you doing this fine day, Jacob?
I am doing pretty well. How are you, Charles?
I'm all right. You know, we got to start this week's episode off on a somber note. The late great Kevin Conroy has sadly passed at the age of 66 from, I believe, pancreatic cancer. It's very, very sad. You would know him from voicing Batman and Bruce Wayne in 80% of Batman animated stuff made after 1996. You know? Yeah. He's everywhere. He's the best Batman. He's my personal, whenever I read the character, that's the voice I hear. You're probably the same. Now on to the fun part of the show. Jacob, do you have a TV show for us?
I do have a TV show.
And it's not a movie?
No. Oh. I've got a little bit of well, I was going to say fun. It's not really fun. It's kind of a sad show. It's called The Darkness of the Mind.
Okay.
Mind. Now, mind is meant to be also heard as mine, because it's sort of like a...
The darkness of mine.
What is... Darkness of the mine. Mine as in like the hole you go in to dig for.
See, I was thinking it was mine. Like,
yeah, that's why
mine.
I clarified after you said that.
Good, I'm glad you clarified, because I'm very stupid.
It's like a adventure show about a group of people trying to take back a land that's sort of been taken over by monsters.
Monsters.
So we're going to open up on a carriage. Actually, sorry, that's not what we're opening up. We're opening up with a man in a cloak wandering through the woods, fleeing from a monster.
Oh, no.
He's going to be running and screaming, you know, all terrified stuff.
Yeah.
The scene will probably end with him, like, hopping behind a tree, like in that scene in Fellowship of the Ring, when Frodo hops behind the tree, and then you got the Nazgul sort of hanging over it.
Yeah, and he's like...
The scene, he like looks around, he like can't see Frodo for some reason. You're like, ooh, what is going on? And then something snaps behind him, and then he goes back there.
He runs after the monster, and you know...
But instead, in this scenario, the monster's gonna look down and kill him. But we're not gonna see the monster, just the razor sharp claws.
Yeah,
like, ooh, what is that thing?
Maybe he's hiding like inside of a fallen oak, right? The inside's all hollowed out, and he's hiding inside of it. You know, and he's like,
yeah.
You hear the footsteps coming outside of the tree, and you know they stop, and he thinks, oh, thank God, it's left. Crash! The arm of the monster, the razor sharp claws, like reach in through the tree and yank him out, and then
it screams. Then we get a long shot of his scream, but we can't see him, and it's just echoing through the dusty woods. Yeah,
and it like fades to black, and slowly the camera pulls back, and it's revealed that we transition to the camera pulls out of a mine shaft, and the title comes up. Yeah,
it's the woods.
Come on.
No, it's the woods.
Okay, just
no, not doing that. It's the woods. And well, he'll scream, and then hard cut to horses running a carriage. Then we'll go in, and we have a guy on top, and he's like whipping the horses. Yeah. Very dramatic. Inside the carriage, we have 4 characters. We have Millie Lasher. Millie Lasher is
good name.
Is a young born leader. She's a famous warrior. She's got like Viking braided blonde hair with face paint and a sword called a Zweihandler. I don't know if that is, but it's sort of like a.
I'm Googling it.
A big 2-handed sword that has sort of ridges on it, like not bar bridges, but like sort of hills on it. It looks cool. I don't know how else to explain it, but she's very wild, rash, and decisive, with a very political way of speech.
Mm-hmm. All right.
What were you about to say before?
I was just gonna say it's a cool looking sword, and I Googled it, and I almost spelled it properly.
Oh, nice, good for you.
Which, pretty proud of myself for that.
So in this carriage, they're gonna be talking about the backstory. So they're gonna be talking around, trading some stories and stuff, and everyone knows who she is because she's the great Viking-like warrior who held the bridge of Brentworth for 4 days before reinforcements arrived.
Oh my god.
Greatest champion in the known world that is well-renowned everywhere.
Yeah, she had a 4-day feast afterwards. You know, something crazy.
She's cool. Then we have in the carriage is William Turner. William Turner is he's a bard, but he's got sort of like I wanted to try to make the bards look different. He's got sort of like an indie rocker look to him.
Oh, so he's got like long, thin hair.
Long, like dark hair or something. He's not strong, but he's clever and he's funny. He's a good musician.
Yeah.
He sees everything as a story and he's prone to jokes. He's sort of like the comedic relief of this story.
Okay. And he's going to...
But he's also a focal point because he's like the person kind of... If we have narration, it'll be him doing it.
And he's going to team up with Captain Jack Sparrow to save Elizabeth Swann.
I didn't even think about that. I just... I did not connect that.
That's fair.
Anyway, maybe we can change his first name.
Nah, I like it. William Turner. Can he have a harmonica, like, necklace thing?
He's not Bob Dylan. He's a lute.
Okay, he's got a lute. Can I have a lute?
Got a lute. He's a bard. Anyway, he's there. He's there because he's sort of an up-and-coming musician, and he wants to write the greatest story, ever.
Yeah.
And he wants to do it at any cost, and he needs to travel and adventure to do that, for that to happen, so that he can get material. And so that's why he's here. But he's just some dude, he's not the most capable person, so he hired Vic Wickers to be his bodyguard. Sick name, Vic Wickers.
Vic Wickers. That's what I imagine he talks
Vic
like.
Wickers, he's in his 50s. He's like a Craven the Hunter mixed with Hugh Jackman style guy. He's like a lumberjack looking dude with, wild salt and pepper hair spiking out the sides with thick mutton chops. Got a red checker flannel with crossbow bandolier strapped over. And like a big headsman axe on his back.
Nice. Big axe on his back.
He's always chewing garlic, because vampires. And has a lightly scarred face. That doesn't make him unattractive, but he wasn't attractive anyway.
Yeah, he wasn't pretty
he's not
before.
he's not great looking. He's like a... He's not bad looking.
Yeah, he's like the ugliest parts of Hugh Jackman mixed with the ugliest parts of... Who was the other guy you said he was like? Of Craven the Hunter.
He's like a uglier David Harbour.
Yeah, okay. All right. We'll cast David Harbour to play it, and then we'll punch David Harbour in the face.
Yeah, we just put some makeup on. Okay, not punch him. That sounds maybe illegal.
Nah. I mean, he punches back, and he looks like...
He's got a rough backstory. He's not going to get into it. The only person that's really going to get into their backstory is Turner, because he's like a musician. He needs to talk about himself because it's the way people are.
Yeah.
When they're creative. Turner, by the way, worked his way up cleaning taverns, and got it. His parents own one. So he's like cleaning tables at the taverns, getting to know musicians. Learns a trick or two, and starts traveling on his own. Not the most interesting backstory, because he's sort of he's not a very interesting character. He's just some bard dude that wants to tell the story.
Yeah, this adventure is going to be his interesting backstory.
That is his interest. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Vic Wickers, though, he's got a very interesting backstory that's long, but we're not going to get into that yet.
Probably fought a dragon.
And the last character is Mary Jane. Now, she does not have a last name that she gives to them. Rather mysterious. I kind of imagine her like, if you've seen Lord of the Rings, she's like Strider in the beginning of the Fellowship of the Ring.
Oh, okay.
Very mysterious.
And for those of us who don't know, who aren't big nerds, Strider is Aragorn or Viggo Mortensen's character.
That I don't think that helps anyone who doesn't already know.
I said Viggo
anyone that
Mortensen.
Knows he's Aragorn knows he's Strider.
I didn't know his name was Strider for the first 4 years of my.
That's how he's introduced in the.
Yeah, but I was a kid when I watched those movies.
And then they say his real name is Aragorn. Anyway, she has raven hair and a long green cloak and a brown leather jerkin, bow across the back. She's sort of like a ranger type.
All right.
And a sword on the belt.
So
the hood's always pulled up. She's very private.
Okay.
Very sharp speech. and very elegant way of speaking.
So we have
Kinda like
ourselves a barbarian, a fighter, a rogue, or a ranger, and a bard.
We got this, clear leader in Millie Lasher. She's like this legendary warrior.
Yeah.
We've got Vic Wickers, who's like this no-good mercenary type, who's kind of a shitty guy, but he's getting paid to be there by the bard. And then we have this mysterious character in Mary Jane of Riverford.
Yeah.
I forgot to mention this, where she says she's from.
Riverford.
She claims to be no one of importance. I'll talk about her backstory. Very polite and formal, but also rugged. She can get things done. Mm-hmm. Friendly. Also a born leader, but not very talkative about it.
Yeah.
And very smart and knowledgeable. And I wrote that you can't help but like her.
I just can't help but like her.
So they're in the carriage. They're talking. Probably Vic Wickers is complaining about how they're not there yet.
Yeah.
And saying he's going to kill the driver.
His
And
ass.
Turner's trying to calm him down.
His ass hurts from sitting in this wooden seat for 6 hours. Why didn't this driver just hurry the hell up?
And Turner's trying to calm him down. And he probably apologizes to Millie and Mary Jane. Mm-hmm. And they get to talking a little bit. Turner's probably like, oh my God, I just realized you're Millie Lasher, the legendary warrior. Wow, this is so great. I'm going to write my song about you as the centerpiece. And she's like, many songs have been written about me, my child. I'm a hero. More songs will be sung about others. But something humble, but also not humble. I don't know.
Yeah, she's talking about how great she is and how many oh yeah, you wouldn't be the first and you probably won't be the best to write a song about me, boy.
Well, not mean though.
Yeah, not mean. That's not mean. That's old-timey, polite.
And Vic Wickers is probably mean to her, but not mean enough that she needs to address the slight.
Yeah.
And Mary Jane avoids all conversation.
She's just...
And so as they're going, they arrive and they're getting out of the carriage, and then we sort of pull back. We see two other people arguing. This is Harold Hart and George Black. They're two knights. You can obviously tell by their armor. George Black is much older, sort of mid to late 60s, kind of like a Barristan the Bold mixed with maybe like Batman Beyond, Bruce Wayne type, like very old but still kind of got it.
Yeah,
Barristan the Bold from Game of Thrones.
He could get in a fist fight if he needed to, but he's not going out of his way.
Well, I mean, he kind of is going out of his way. He's a gray-haired man in sort of battle-worn knight's armor. His hands are crumpled and calloused. He moves slow, but he's still got some strength in his veins. And he's on his twilight strength, I wrote. Mm-hmm. But he's still strong enough to wield a sword. Very deep and grumpy.
He could still beat up Will Turner.
Yeah, beat the shit out of him. He's probably one of the tougher characters in this. He still got it, Mm-hmm. It's unsure if he could, wipe the floor with some of these people.
Yeah.
He's got very pithy, laconic speech. He doesn't mince words. He's hurtful, but he's wise. Yeah, so he's tough. And the reason he's sort of here is because he wants an honorable death.
Oh, okay.
He's like, I'm at the end of my life. I'm going to go out kicking. I want to see if I still got it.
I want to go out kicking some ass.
It's not, maybe it's not really that he wants an honorable death. It's that he wants to prove that he still got it. Mm-hmm. And he's willing to die if necessary.
Yeah, he's happy to die an honorable death.
He's okay with death. But his plan is to I'm going to go out here. I'm going to do this. If I make it back, I make it back and I can, retire. If I don't, then I don't.
Yeah. It's life.
Don't really care either way.
I'm cool with it. It's me.
With him is Sir Harold Hart, who's got short blonde hair and a likable face with clean armor.
Ooh.
He's not very deep, but, still a masculine voice. Kind of like light and bright like Superman is, Mm-hmm. Not like a, grumpy sort of voice. He's very hardworking and kind, and he desperately wants to be liked and wants to prove himself because he feels useless.
All right.
And so they're arguing because they're from the same kingdom, and Harold Hart is upset that George Black has left and is doing this thing, and he wants to come with him. But George Black is, I need to do this myself. I keep saying George Black. It's Gregory Black.
Greg Black.
Gregory Black. Anyway, so he's, saying like, I don't need you, kid. This is something I got to do myself. And he's not really explaining his reasons because it's kind of private to him that he feels like he needs to prove it.
Yeah.
And Harold Hart's like, please, I want to help. I want to be a part of this. I want to, do something. And he's giving him like wise lines, like Gregory Black's giving him wise lines, like, you're too young to prove yourself. Like, why do you need to prove yourself to a uncaring world or something? I don't know.
Yeah.
Something clever.
Who cares?
I will write later.
I, Gregory Black, would never need to prove myself, but you should also never need to prove yourself. The world isn't. Life's too short to go around making sure that everyone knows how great you are.
Yeah, he's giving a lot of advice that contradicts what he's doing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So we follow them as they're arguing continuously, and they go in the tavern. And behind them walks in Sylvia Slade. Sylvia Slade. A lot of characters here. Keep up, Charles. We're following, we're walking the tavern, and instead of the camera following them with like the dolly shot or whatever, we follow Sylvia Slade.
Mm-hmm.
She's like early 30s, kind of like Ciri from The Witcher.
Okay.
3, like older, mixed with Elsa from Werewolf by Night, if you've seen the Disney Plus special presentation, Werewolf by Night.
Why didn't they just call it a TV show?
It's just a one episode, 60-minute thing.
Why didn't they just call it a short film?
I don't know. Special presentation. That's what they're doing for like 60-minute short film things. I don't know why you're upset about that. It doesn't really matter.
I'm upset about everything, Joe.
It's the silliest thing. Anyway, she's got white hair and a brown leather jacket. Mm-hmm. She's a tough kind of person. Ankle knife, crossbow in the back, knives all over her coats.
Yeah.
Bolts in her bag.
She's got some like hidden.
She's very hairy.
Hairy how?
Unshaved legs and arms. That's what I wrote. Yeah. It's important, but I can't. But it's blonde and hardly noticeable.
Okay.
But it's there.
Okay.
It's important detail, Charles.
I'm keeping it in mind.
And she's got a bone sword.
Cool.
Because bone swords are cool.
That is.
It's made from a werewolf's spine.
Oh, that's fucking badass.
She's got a deeper voice like Poison Ivy in Harley Quinn in the Harley Quinn show. It's played by Lake Bell, so Lake Bell can play Sylvia Slade.
Yeah, we'll just start like gluing hair to Lake Bell.
What?
We'll start gluing hair to Lake Bell so she can play your Sylvia Slade. I'm assuming it's live action.
Well, she'd be wearing a wig anywhere, but Lake Bell I think has hair.
Does she have a bunch of hair on her arms and legs?
She could grow it out, I guess.
I don't know. Would she want to? I'll email her.
Puts for a role? Yeah, I assume.
I'll text her.
I think you meant on her head. I was like, why would she glue hair on her head?
Yeah, yeah, let's do that.
Anyway, Sylvia Slade, very reserved, but hot-headed. Also, so contradictory character. Cautious, but heroic. And hates monsters with a passion. Almost religiously. Also does not take shit from anyone.
Oh, that's a good character trait. She don't take shit from
nobody. So they get in the tavern. Sylvia Slade walks in, and immediately so we have Millie Lasher, Turner, Vic Wickers, and Mary Jane are sitting at a table, and we got Harold and George sort of arguing still. Sylvia Slade walks in behind them, and immediately the sort of town crier, like the mayor or whatever, recognized her. It's like, oh my god, it's Sylvia Slade, the legendary
monster
werewolf hunter
killer.
She's known for killing werewolves, but more known because of her mother is famous for killing this legendary werewolf called Harry Jack Nelson.
Harry Jack Nelson.
And
that's
people are like, oh my god,
a fucking
she's
great
so cool.
name.
Yeah, Harry Jack. So her mother, Beatrice Slade, killed Harry Jack Nelson. So she's like, whoa, everyone, she's the daughter of a famous hunter, therefore she's also great, but not as cool as her mom, though.
And she's annoyed. I'm assuming Sherry Slade's annoyed. She's like, I'm
Sylvia Slade.
Sylvia Slade. I'm better than my mom.
She's used to it, but she's like, not there for it. And everyone wants to see her sword because her sword is the spine of Harry Jack Nelson.
Oh, badass.
Carved into a blade. And it's really cool. And we'll probably have some in-universe thing that's like bone swords are, especially like werewolf spines, are like the best weapons.
Yeah, they're infused with
like,
magic and also super strong.
It's like they have the strength of a werewolf in the blade. It's very powerful and sharp and deadly, and
And light, and they're the best. The bomb diggity. We'll sell so much merch of like
yeah, we could sell some bone swords. That'd be cool.
werewolf bone sword replicas.
Real bones too. We kill people and we carve their spines into swords.
Real bones of human people. We'll kill each other, and they'll make swords
When
out
I
of our
die,
spines.
and after this show's made, and I die, we'll carve my spine into a sword.
Yeah,
And we'll sell it for billions.
I'll sell it for billions.
Billions,
You'll be dead.
Well, I assume I'm okay with that. I guess
Yeah.
you can have the billions.
Yeah. Your family can get fucked.
So she gets lauded, and then so does Millie Lasher because she's a famous warrior. And the speaker/mayor is he gives this enthralling speech about the dangers the town sits on the edge of. So the town they're in is called the Lonely Light, and this is where we're gonna get some backstory. So we're in the town called the Lonely Light, and it's on the edge of a once great city, and it's like keep that's next to it. And
okay.
I'm trying to look for my notes. That's why I'm sort of procrastinating here. Okay, here we go.
He's got it.
Etheridge Castle
Etheridge
is the name of the castle.
All right.
It was home of the Stoker family, who were lords over Crawlton. That was the name of the town. It was a mining town. And it all came to ruin because Lord William Stoker was a greedy and vain man who drove his mines deep in the mountain for riches despite the danger. We're going full Lord of the Rings here
Yeah.
with the,
They dug too deep and
dug
awoke
too
something. Something
That's
great
exactly.
and
He found
terrible.
evil,
Yeah.
and his nature of greed and vanity led him to bargain with the evil instead of sealing it away. And his pact only brought ruin upon his family and house.
Ooh.
Essentially, monsters came pouring out. He tried to work with them, and they became like part of the town structure for a little bit. Like monsters would work with the Stoker family to like keep peace and like work in the mines and stuff.
Like Bram Stoker.
But obviously the peace quickly eroded because he's messing with evil here.
yeah, of course.
And whatever spell he used to bind the monsters broke, and now there's just
Fucking monsters.
like the whole land around the castle is just black. It looks like Mordor and Lord of the Rings. Really doing a lot of Lord of the Rings references.
We love Lord of the Rings.
And it's all dark looking. The trees are weird and wily, like a swamp.
yeah.
And tons of monsters everywhere. And the Lonely Light is on the edge of town, and the goal is to try to of these adventures. They call them expeditions. He's going to explain this in the speech. Like this is the 70 or not 70, the
17th
20
annual.
23rd or 17th annual, somewhere like in the 20s or early teens.
Yeah.
Or late teens. Annual expedition into Etheridge Castle to defeat the evil. And it's sort of, we'll get this from dialogue from the people, but it's known that these expeditions, they're intended to go to Etheridge Castle and destroy the evil there. But all they really end up doing is kind of slaying the monsters that are near this town, the Lonely Light, and keeping them at bay
Yeah.
from the wider world.
Yeah. But they've got two great warriors
Yeah.
now.
Yeah, they do have two great warriors, but they always have great warriors. But I mean, the goal is to defeat the monsters and everything. But really, it's become a sort of, well, we'll just sort of kill as many as we can, and then we'll grab loot from the once great town and come back. And that's kind of why people come here.
Yeah.
We got 50 or so people in this tavern, maybe 60, and including our characters. And most of them are there just they want to get to Crawlton, the old famous town, and they want to get loot, and they want to get out. They want to become rich from this. This is like a easy get rich quick scheme, but it's dangerous.
Yeah. As most get rich quick schemes are.
Yeah.
Yeah. Have you ever tried to get rich quick?
No, I haven't.
It's difficult.
Have you?
Yeah, I did one time.
Did you get rich quick?
I didn't get rich quick. I tried to steal one of the whales from SeaWorld, did not end well.
I didn't realize you were gonna lie today.
I lie every day, Jake. Every day of my life.
Well, after he finishes this speech, the mood's kind of sour because he just told them about like the history and all that and how many monsters there are and how dangerous it is. But that's when Millie Lasher stands up and gives a rousing speech, and like everyone's like, yeah, and that's when the mayor declares her the voyage leader.
Yeah.
For this horrid journey.
Yeah, Lasher.
So Millie Lasher will lead the 60 or so people into the darkness.
Mm-hmm. That's fucking exciting. She's got a big sword. She probably like put it through a table. You know?
Yeah.
She stood on a table and like to end her speech, she slammed the sword down like blade first, and it goes through the table and slams into the ground. And everyone's like,
Their big Y handler.
big silent for a second, and then they're like, yeah, and they start like screaming and stuff.
Yeah, everyone gets drunk, eats food, has fun, goes to bed. The next day, well, this is a long pilot.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
At least explaining it is. I mean, we haven't really gone through that much in the pilot. I guess I explained everyone's backstories and stuff.
Yeah.
But Mary Jane wakes up early, meets Millie, who's planning the journey. They're gonna argue about the path, but Millie has the final say. Mary Jane is very upset because she's like, this is dangerous. We can't go this way. But Millie's like, we shall go. It's the quickest way, and we'll slay the monsters, and we'll defeat the evil. Yeah.
Yeah, we're better than the 17 other years worth of adventurers.
Yeah. Turner wakes up late and finds Vic Wickers sorting through his stuff. So his mercenary's sorting through his stuff, and he's like, what's going on here? And he's like, oh, I was just packing for you. We got to go down to breakfast.
Yeah, come on.
But he's forceful about it because, you know, that's his character. He's like, oh, I was just packing for you. Come on, scrub, let's go down to breakfast. And he grabs him and pulls him down. And Turner's like, maybe I shouldn't have hired this guy, but it's too late now.
Seems like a bit of a dick.
They go downstairs, and Harold and George are sitting away from each other. You know, they argued enough, and now they're giving each other the silent treatment.
Yeah, as you do.
Seeing a story, Turner talks with Harold because he's like, oh, there's something spicy here. I'm gonna see what's going on. This could be important for my ballad. You know, I got to write about the two knights who are feuding.
Yeah.
And he ends up giving him some advice, which Harold ignores because he's like, well, you gotta
be nice.
You gotta, like, you know, you gotta be nice to this guy. He's you know,
He's old.
You gotta try to make up with him. And Matt, if you were related, it would, you know, be different. He's like, rah, 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 rah.
But I'm not related to
Sylvia
anyone.
Slade is there, and she's like, that was shit advice. And that's sort of how Turner start talking and becomes kind of friendly. He's like taking an interest in her because her mother was famous, and he's like seeing potential for like a legacy story here.
Yeah, everyone likes a
And
legacy.
she's kind of dismissive, but she thinks it's funny, so she's okay with it.
Yeah. He's funny and cute in like a pathetic way.
So they set out on the adventure. Mary Jane, our Strider type, is not happy with where they're going, and so she goes alone on a different path. And Sylvia might, you know, argue with her and be like, why are you doing this? Why would you go in a different way? And she's like, we're going into ruin and rubble. You're making a mistake. She's like, but you're abandoning us. It's like, I can't lead you if you won't follow me. And she's like, well, Millie Lasher knows what she's doing, so surely we'll be all right.
Yeah.
So
Idiot.
Mary Jane goes off on her own. Sylvia Slade continues with the rest of the group. Turner and Vic, so our bard and his mercenary, are still together, and Vic keeps asking about his money and his jewels. And Turner's kind of like, you know, fluttery about it, and Vic is annoyed, but gets distracted by sounds in the woods. Harold's trying to talk to Black, but it doesn't really go anywhere, and they're interrupted by some growls in the woods as well, and they're like, well, we're gonna search around and see what's going on, if there's anything around our pact, or pack that's like moving up. They got this huge train of people on horses and on foot moving through the woods on like this old road. Then we got Turner and Sylvia are now traveling side by side. He tries to pry into her history to her annoyance, like hearing about her mother, and he's like, who's your father? And she's, you know, being kind of cagey about it. And he apologizes because, you know, he's prying. She doesn't like that. And he, you know, talks about himself to try to create some sort of friendship and back and forth.
Yeah.
So we get some more backstory here.
A little bit of backstory. He talks about the time he fell down a well and had to sleep there for 6 days.
Yeah.
She's like, that's...
So it's getting kind of late now because they've been traveling for a while, and Millie said they should break camp, and so they pick guards and they try to prepare for the night. This is when we switch to Mary Jane. It's dark, and she's arrived at an old farmhouse. She sets up in the attic and leaves a big book up there. And she goes downstairs and she's setting up a trap. When suddenly she gets attacked by like this horde of like these fiery, like zombie things. Like they look like corpses. Not like how zombie corpses are, but like, you know, sort of mummified corpses, but not with the wraps around them.
Yeah.
And they're like on fire, and she's like sort of beating them back. There's probably like 40 or 50 of them, and she's fighting valiantly, but nothing seems to work. She gets pushed to the house in the attic, where she's locked inside with the horde outside, and now the house is burning and she's in it.
Oh, we can have a good shot of
big
her,
moment, Act 3.
of her horse getting like torn down, and like it's, you know, her like hearing it neigh and whinny as it like gets ripped apart by the fire zombies, and she just has to like sit on the attic door to keep them from getting in. It's just like, oh, sad about my horse. It's dead now because of me.
It is. It's dead because of you, Mary Jane.
Mary Jane.
Well, wait, whoever you got with these monsters.
Yeah.
Would come out of nowhere. On fire, surely you would have seen them before they got here, but you didn't.
Idiot.
Because it's monsters. Well, she's not an idiot, but yeah. Anyway, Act 3, you know, that was the big Act 2 moment where it ends with her in the attic, the horde outside. Act 3, the horde started to break through. She doesn't know what to do. She starts beating them back as they're coming through. That's when she sees the book and she remembers, and she grabs it and she jumps out the window. And she flips through the pages. It's a monster book. It has, like, you know, directions on how to kill certain monsters and what they are. And she's, like, flipping through, trying to figure out what kind of these are. And she finds it and she reads that the only solution is fire through the heart.
All right.
Weird for a fire monster, but, you know, that's the way it is.
That's how it is.
And so she grabs her sword. As she goes to the oil lamp she left outside by the trap, douses her blade, and uses it to kill all the beasts.
And it should have a great, like, scene. Maybe, yeah, we have a great scene where she, like, smashes her sword into the oil lamp, and the oil, like, falls all over it, and then... Is there magic? Does she have magic?
No, nobody has magic.
Okay. Then she, like, touches it to a torch, and just this big flame bursts through. And just as, like, the flame turns on, she, like, jabs it through a guy's heart. Just like, oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Starts slicing and dicing.
Flaming swords are cool, and they look cool.
They do, and they
so
are.
it would be cool. That's the way it works. Anyway, she does that. Survives. We cut back to camp. Turner wakes up at the sound of a scream. He sees Vic Wickers is gone, and so is his money.
Ah, shit, Vic.
He's like, fucking Vic. He, you know, he was never in it to help me at all. He was always just trying to rob me. And so Turner gets up and the screams continue though. And he's like, what is happening? And he sees blood around him and he sees a horrid camp full of bloody, you know, adventurers and dead people. Basically, you know, anyone that wasn't a named character is dying.
Yeah, like fucking 55 people get murdered.
Yeah, they're all freaking dead. This is my Game of Thrones bloody show.
Yeah.
It's very gory. And he's like vomiting and this is terrible and he's walking around. We cut to Harold, who's shaken awake by Gregory. And this is kind of their moment where they were reserved about each other and didn't really want to be together, but now that danger's come, they're like, we got to stick together. And so now they're like working together back to back, going through the forest trying to find out what's going on, but like keeping vigilant so they can defend against whatever it is that's attacking them. Cut to Sylvia Slade, who's wandering covered in blood with a sword trying to find survivors. Her blade itself is like clearly it tore into whatever monster has attacked people, and she's got like a big cut across her shoulder. and she finds Millie and a group of warriors ready for the beast. And they're like, okay, we'll set up together. We'll get ready. The beast is somewhere. And Millie's like, don't worry, Sylvia, we can do this. And then that's when the monster will jump in. It's this huge werewolf. Kills all of them.
Oh, no.
And kills Millie. Everyone dies there except for Sylvia, who gets beat like terribly by the monster. The sword clatters out of her hand. She's like against the tree. The monster's in her face. It's growling. It opens its mouth to eat her. And then suddenly it sniffs. And then it closes its mouth and it walks away. End of episode.
End of episode 1.
Boom.
Boom.
That was my pilot.
That's a lot happening. That's a lot. A lot of people died.
It's not really that much. You know, they get there. They go off on the journey. Mary Jane gets attacked. They get attacked.
Yeah, a lot of people died.
This is like a 40-minute episode, probably.
Yeah.
This is like a Game of Thrones-y show where it's like 40-minute episodes.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah. So that's sort of the, you know, you got the feeling of the show from that.
Mm-hmm.
This is a dark show.
Yeah, no magic.
I get into sort of the
death.
season plan and some of the character stuff that we're gonna get unveiled.
No, unveiled. They're making veal, and then they're gonna undo it.
So, they're gonna get to the town. Well, I should probably explain what happens in the next episode, I guess. So, episode 2 is about hunting the werewolf. Sylvia's gonna find Turner, and she's gonna offer to protect him. Harold and George argue about turning back, but ultimately decide to go into town. And Mary Jane makes it to town. So Harold and George are on the way to town. Mary Jane's in town. Sylvia and Turner are in the woods hunting the monster. Turner is not excited about this, but Sylvia is all about it because she's, you know, crazy fucking werewolf killer.
Yeah, that's what she's all about. Maybe William Turner, he's like revealed he has a little bit of medical knowledge because she's still got that big gash on her and stuff.
I imagine she probably healed herself up.
Okay.
Because she's a tough gal.
She's the bomb diggity.
Turner can help, I guess.
Yeah. He's got to have some redeeming
He worked
qualities.
in the tavern. Maybe he can have some stupid line where he's like, oh, I worked in a tavern long enough to be able to patch people up from brawls and stuff.
Yeah, I've patched up my fair share of, you know, drunken busted lips and smashed, you know, chair wounds, that sort of thing.
Yeah. And so he'll help patch her up.
Yeah.
And she's going to kill the werewolf.
Ooh.
Big exciting thing for her. Really, really hard fight, you know, because it's just her versus this werewolf, but she kills it with the cool bone sword she has.
Sword.
And afterwards, she throws up and seemingly feels very sick after killing the werewolf. So, all these groups eventually meet in the town in Crawlton with the monster overrun town. And they argue about going on or going back, but all want to press on for different reasons. Gregory still wants to prove himself. Harold seems to have some reason that he wants to protect Gregory that he's not talking about.
Not divulge.
Turner wants his story. Sylvia wants to kill werewolves and destroy this evil. Mary Jane is very insistent about killing the evil.
And Vic Wicker is nowhere to be found.
Nowhere to be seen. Where is Vic Wickers? Who knows?
Probably run off with all that money.
Harold is gonna die in the town.
I know.
Yeah, pretty sad stuff.
That is sad.
I think it's what happens. Harold dies.
Yeah.
It's tragic.
Very sad.
So Harold dies, and it's like as he dies, he reveals that he was George's son.
That's what I was gonna guess. That he was
That's
his
what the whole
son.
thing was.
And he's like, I gotta protect you, Daddy.
So we get maybe a little bit of them knowing that he's his son. Or maybe it's, I don't know how to do the reveal exactly, but Harold is George's son.
Maybe they both.
But Harold's gonna die.
Maybe they both have a tattoo. That's a classic TV show trope. You know? They both have a tattoo. Or, you know,
Same tattoo.
Harold's mother told him that your father has, you know, a lily tattoo above his left ankle.
Yeah.
And there's a, you know, scene in the first or second episode where, you know, Harold is walking in while, like, Gregory's changing his shoes. and he sees the lily tattoo. And he's like, "When'd you get that?" And it's 20 years back. This town with, you know, someone or other. And that's when he starts really getting into the "I have to save you, Daddy."
Mm-hmm.
That's like
Harold knows that this is his dad, or at least he thinks it is. He's not 100% sure. Because, Harold, he was born to a single mother whose husband went off to war. And in George's backstory, he went off to war when he was married, but he got, like, drafted into the army and, like, you know, he couldn't get out.
Mm-hmm.
By the time he got back, the village was destroyed. He didn't realize that they had moved to another village.
Yeah.
You know, this is olden times. What are you going to do if you can't find someone in the last place you knew where they were?
Yeah, you fucking whatever. Just get a new life.
Essentially, that's kind of what it is. He assumed they were dead, and they assumed that he died in the war. But, you know, she raised him to be great like his father, and she told him heroic stories about his father, who's a knight. I said that she thinks he died. She doesn't think he died. She knows he's still alive, but she can't really get in touch with him.
Yeah, how's she gonna find him?
And so he's given all these tales about how great his father is, this amazing knight, and he grows up, you know, trying to be like him and wanting to be him, and wanting to find him, and ends up being knighted after distinguishing himself as an attorney, as a mystery knight, who's not actually a knight. So he's got some sort of a coming up story, but gets cut short by his need to find his father.
And then his tragic death.
He had a son. And his tragic death.
Typically in a movie or a show like this, it'll be like the long lost father who dies. Because it's sadder.
It's the son
it's less sad,
dies.
But this one is more sad because it's the son who dies.
Don't worry, Charlie. Everyone's fucking dying.
Yeah.
George is sad and seemingly decides to go back, but returns in sort of like a Deus Ex Machina moment to save Mary Jane's life from a sword-infused skeletal half-man, half-lizard beast. That's what I've read. Wow, that's pretty crazy.
That is pretty crazy.
We might have like a Mary Jane Sylvia relationship plot.
Where they might kiss, they might not. Who knows?
I don't know. It wouldn't be like we wouldn't get like anything really romantic. We get like things that they might like each other, but it wouldn't develop into anything.
Yeah.
Because people die.
People die. Things happen.
Turner doesn't have much left in him because he's just like this fucking dude.
Yeah. But now he needs to get the treasure from this town because he's had his, you know, maybe that was his savings that Vic Wicker stole.
Well, I'm thinking he still wants the story, but he's like losing his will. I mean, if he's okay, he can go back to his parents and he can work in the tavern, but he wants to become this heroic bard character.
Yeah. Fair enough.
And so Turner still has this jewel around his neck, though, and Vic Wickers is going to show up again. He's going to be trying to kill Turner in the night for the jewel. And Gregory Black's going to defend him. And this is Gregory Black's big moment, his big decider. Does he still have it? He's going against someone that's a bit younger than him, who definitely is in their, like, prime, or maybe the end of their prime. Because Vic Wickers is like his 50s, so I guess he's probably the end of his prime.
I could still kick your ass, old man.
Gregory's about like 20 years older.
Yeah.
And they have this cool epic sword fight. Mary Jane and Sylvia are away somewhere because we need them to be, because this has to be a one-on-one duel.
Yeah, of course.
And Turner's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know how to help. And Gregory and Vic are fighting, and Gregory might get like a big slash over Vic. And Vic sort of retreats into like the ruins around them. And a crossbow bolt. As Gregory, like, you know, turns to Turner and says, like, blah, blah, blah. I think we'll be okay now. A crossbow bolt strikes him. And he's killed by Vic Wickers.
Oh, no. Right through the eye, probably.
Yeah.
Like, he's talking to him, and it goes
Vic
through
Wickers comes up, and he's gonna kill Turner and take his jewel. You know, this is very like, oh, everything's fucking over. And that's when Mary Jane and Sylvia get back. And they fight off Vic, and I guess they can kill him.
They cut his fucking head off.
They can't kill him. He has a different way he dies.
Okay, sorry.
They fight him off, and he leaves.
Maybe he gets like a slash over his eye, and now he's got like one big like red, you know, cut over like across his eye, and that's really
he's injured. Yeah.
He's all fucked up. It's like,
and he's like, we're gonna follow him a little bit as well. He's near the castle, and he wants riches, and
I imagine
he ends up going into this room with this treasure and gets killed by this mysterious vampire figure.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets killed because of his greed.
Of course.
Essentially, he should have just gone back at that point. He's got his jewel. He's got all the money he can want.
Yeah. What do you need? What more do you need, bro? Calm the F down.
What more do you need? Oh, and in the fight, he scars Sylvia with a bone knife that he has. So that's important. Turner, Sylvia, and MJ are left alone. They're like, we gotta figure out what's going on. We just got attacked. We lost Gregory. This is sad stuff. And Sylvia is developing a sickness because she's got this scar across her cheek. And MJ knows what that means because the scar has turned a color, maybe red or something that's very obvious. And she's like, you have to be a werewolf. Why didn't you tell us? That's what that means if you've been scarred with a bone knife and you have a red scar. And this is where we get Sylvia Slade's backstory.
She wasn't hairy for just fun.
She's a werewolf.
She's a werewolf, partially.
She's half werewolf because her mother, Beatrice Slade, she didn't kill Harry Jack Nelson. She loved Harry Jack Nelson.
Oh my God!
They were together.
It was a twist.
So her mother was a famed monster slayer, and her father was a monster. They met on a hunt in which he was in his man form, and he pretended to be a hunter. And they ended up falling in love. And when he revealed he was a monster, they had a little bit of strife, but they worked it out.
Yeah. Good for them.
Another wolf tried to kill Beatrice, and it bit him, and it turned him feral, which means he loses touch to his human side.
Mm-hmm.
And Beatrice had to kill him.
That's a good.
It's really
twist.
sad.
You get bitten once, you become a werewolf. You get bitten twice, you become a full-on, but just wolf.
Feral wolf.
Yeah, big monster wolf.
Same thing happens if you get scarred by a bone knife, though.
Oh.
By bone. And she's told this, and so Beatrice tells the story as if she killed the beast and it ate her husband and was lauded for killing the great werewolf, but she actually loved that great werewolf.
Yeah, and she made a sword out of him.
She was never the same afterward. Ended up killing herself. Sylvia grew up with her aunt and hated her father for what he had done to her mother. That's why she kills animals and because she hates what she really is. She hates them because it's what she is.
It's a little bit of self-hatred. Werewolf.
Yeah, deep stuff here.
Half werewolf. She didn't have all the powers of a werewolf, but she probably has some of the powers of a werewolf. She's probably really strong, and she could smell things real good.
So they get to the castle. She has some extra strength and some extra stamina, but it's nothing that's totally unplausible for a human to have. She's just the greatest athlete ever known. But now that she's scarred, she's starting to get hairier and she's starting to get more power, but she still has some control over it. Mm-hmm. Or she still has control. And they're working through it, but Sylvia's getting worse and they don't really know what to do. And MJ doesn't want to kill her because she loves her. So we have a little bit of a plot there. Yeah. It's developing. It's clear they like each other, and MJ can't bring herself to kill Sylvia because she likes her. Mm-hmm. They like each other. And near the entrance to the mine, Sylvia loses control and she becomes more wolf-like. And
is Will Turner gonna have to kill her?
I think I made a mistake here. They probably don't realize that she's probably hiding her monster thing until about now.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
She's turning into a monster slowly.
Yeah.
Because it would make sense. But now, we get to the point and she's gonna turn feral, and MJ has to kill her before she goes feral and kills MJ and
Turner.
Turner. So it's her death is exactly the same as her father's. That's the idea here.
Oh, okay.
The person she loved has to kill her. Because she is going feral.
She's going crazy. The animal side took her over.
And this happens right at the entrance to the mines, and the whole thing is way too much for Turner, and he decides, I'm gonna go back. And he's like, MJ, you have to come with me. You have to abandon this foolish quest. We can't keep going. But this is when we get the final big reveal. We're gonna be hinting about it the whole time.
Of course.
But MJ, her last name is Stoker. Stoker being the family that own this castle. She's the last surviving member of the Stoker family. Her mother was the daughter of that original lord, and she fled the castle.
After he made that deal with the... Oh, and so that's why it's...
Darkness.
Has to be mid-20... That's why it has to be early 20s.
Yeah, because it's about her age.
Because it's her age. That makes sense. I like that.
Her mom lived a quiet life in a village called River Ford, and she tutored her daughter and, tried to help her to, become the person that needs to exist to salvage the family legacy and defeat the evil that her family wrought.
Yeah.
That's why she's able to make these hard decisions, like, going a different path and from the main group and killing
the woman
Sylvia
she loves.
here because, she's been built up to be this person to destroy this evil.
It's her life's purpose in a way.
It is her life's purpose, yes. And so she tells that she's the last Stoker, and that's why he has to do this. And he watches her fade into the darkness as he leaves down the hill. The credits roll, and we'll have the guy that plays William Turner sing a song about this song that comes from these events.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The song essentially is the entire series. It's like, they got to the town and there's lots of people with Mary Jane and Sylvia and blah blah blah, and they got to the big town,
and then there was the guy,
and they got to the castle, and then it's a tragic song about everyone and everything that happened.
He mugged me and he was
all
a
the
dick.
Events. Yeah, well, it's very just summarizing everything that's happened.
Yeah,
because we can't obviously go into too much detail with the song, but the sort of the idea of it.
Okay, and we just
But that's how it ends. It ends with that song. She goes into the mine, he goes down the hill.
And we don't even know if she was successful.
We don't.
Maybe we can hear just
if we had a season 2, it would probably be a whole new crew. They would go up there.
Yeah. And they would find her, and she's been trapped in the mines.
Yeah.
She's been there for 10, 15 years, and she's lost her mind a little bit, but she's gotten really good at killing monsters because she's been in the mines for fucking forever.
If we didn't have a season 2, it would be kind of assumed that she ended up defeating the monster but died in the process. Ended up closing whatever
hell portal
fucking thing is down there.
I do like that we never see what the hell portal is. Yeah,
I don't want to see
I
that.
don't either. It is lame. It's much better just to imagine that it's, what it is. Unless it's all right, if it's, the only way I could imagine it not being lame, if it is revealed that the hell portal is actually her grandfather. The deal he made with the monsters was a monkey's paw situation, and he was transformed into the hell portal, and he's still alive, but he's in constant agony as these monsters are just crawling out of him. But that'd be really messed up. That would be really messed up, but that's a different kind of series, a medieval body horror series versus the medieval somber adventure series that you just pitched that I enjoyed quite a bit. And what was the title again?
Thanks.
The Darkness of the Mind?
Darkness of the Mind.
The Darkness of the Mind. Well, folks, if you like what you heard here and you want to hear more shows like The Darkness of the Mind, please give us a like, a follow, subscribe, and tell your friends, tell your family, tell your dog, tell your cat. Find us wherever you found this episode, and also other places like Spotify and Apple Music and other places. So thank you all for listening.
Yeah.
And have a good day. And if you are one of our Mexican listeners, thank you very much. I don't know if Jake knows this, but we made it to the top, the 89th position on Mexican podcasts for the drama series, under the drama, tag. And Apple Podcasts. I got an email earlier this week to our email address. That was, let me pull it up.
Are you serious?
Yes, I'm being 100% serious right now. I'm pulling it up.
Do they know we speak English?
Yeah, VeryReasonablePilots is ranking very well in Mexico. This is from Carlos at hello@podstatus.com.
This is a lie.
I have some cool information that might interest you. Your podcast, Very Reasonable Pilots, has good performance in Apple Podcast rankings last 30 days. Position 89 in the category Drama, Mexico. Happy podcasting.
Yeah, this is a lie. I don't know what this is, but it's a lie. Who the hell's pod status?
I know that there's for pod status you have to pay there's like a sign up thing, and I'm like, I don't.
They probably just want us to, give them money.
I'll sign up. Oh, it's €5 a month. Today's charge €0 this month, but you still need my card.
All right.
Goodbye, all of you. We love you. Have a good one.